Archbishop, I tend to think that the measure of an apology is in the person's ability to articulate what exactly they're apologizing for. When it comes to residential schools in Canada, for what are you sorry?
It would be a very long list, longer than this interview would allow, but the specifics are, first of all, the way the schools were run. Secondly, what someone referred to me, and it seems a good phrase, as the attempted cultural genocide, the removal of the culture, the spirituality, even at times almost the soul and the humanity of those who were there, the attempt to remove them from life in Canada. Thirdly, the collusion and cooperation of the Anglicans in the residential schools, as opposed to standing alongside the victims and survivors, and even if they couldn't stop it, at least standing up against it. And fourthly, the systematic cruelty and abuse that were absolutely intrinsic to the way these schools run.
You've called what has happened a terrible crime, and I'd like for you to listen to one of the victims of those crimes, Roberta Hill, who is a survivor of one particular school, the Mohawk Institute. Take a listen to this.
I would like to know what has been done within the church itself, the Anglican Church, to address the issues of sexual abuse that was pretty rampant across this country. But I was in the Mohawk Institute, and I know that it happened there because I'm one of the victims. And it's had such a devastating effect on all of our communities. And you know, we're still dealing with the impacts of that. So how are they going to make changes within the church so that this doesn't happen again?
Archbishop, your response.
First of all, I am so sorry. I want to repeat what I said in terms of apology and grief. It is a serious disciplinary offense for any clergy person or officer of the church to seek to hide, to cover up, or to conceal abuse of any kind, especially sexual abuse of children or vulnerable adults. Secondly, there is extensive training that is now being introduced to take people immensely seriously and treat them with dignity and profound respect. Thirdly, to have independent oversight and checking of what is going on.
What about money? I mean, you know, we've also heard from survivors who think that there is no sincerity in an apology that is not matched with a financial commitment. The church has billions of dollars in assets. How much of that is the church willing to part with to make things right?
The Church of England's funds are not within my control, and they are under Act of Parliament confined to the use of England, an Act of Parliament going back to the 18th century. However, that's not to say we aren't going to do anything, but it means that what we are going to do, first of all, has to be within the law. Secondly, it has to be discussed with the survivors. It's not just a case of our patronizing them by handing things out. Everything has to be done in collaboration with survivors rather than a top-down, outside-in approach.
I guess, no one's asking for handouts, but I guess the question is really just about material compensation for material harm. And I suppose what I'm wondering is, do you feel that survivors here in Canada are owed more than what they've been given?
I'm not sure I'm able to give a truthful and good answer to that question, because the last 2 days have been my first direct encounter with what happened. And I think it's not within my gift to promise funds. And one of the things I said to the survivors yesterday when they asked me the same question was, I'm not going to promise what I can't deliver.
Okay, well, Archbishop Justin Welby, we will have to leave it there, but I know your schedule is a demanding one, so I do appreciate you taking the time to join us. Thank you.
Thank you.